Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Kai, and today I have for you another haul video. So I know I just recently did one like 2 weeks ago, and I'll admit I have a little bit of a spending problem. So Sweetie Nail Supply recently restocked these here. This is the my&bee magnetic gels. Now this is a new brand to me, but I've heard so many good things from so many creators, people like Tamara at the Devil Wears Press-Ons, along with Hope from Nails Box of Hope. Just amazing things about the my&bee magnetic gels. So of course, when they restocked, I had to pick up some of these. I also grabbed some brush cleaners, some of these new ombre sponges that I've been wanting to try out with my MPA art palette. They also dropped this new brand of peel off base gel. It's Crear, so I wanted to try that out. And then the rest of the stuff here, I actually have had, I hate to admit it, since like December, November. I bought like this gradation palette and these glitters and the magnetic powders from, let's see, Sweetie Nail Supply, Zillabue, and Junie, which is Susie XXI on Instagram. Her gel shop, I guess. She's US based. And so I thought I would just throw everything in here that I have yet to review for another haul for you all. I'll admit, last week's video, the collab took it out of me. I did a really cute set that I'm actually super proud of. It was based on this little guy here, this little Sanrio figure. This is Cinema Roll, and I recently opened up a blind box and got the one I wanted, which was this precious thing here. And I knew I just had to make a nail set out of him, so I did go ahead and do a nail set inspired by this figurine. If you're interested in watching it, I will have it linked up in the corner, but I am just super proud of how it turned out. And so this week I needed a little bit of a break. Life's kind of kicking my butt right now. I'll tell you about it a little bit later. So yeah, I thought a haul would be a fun way to still get a video out for you all, but also give myself just like a little bit of a break right now in the busy season. So if that all sounds good to you, please consider giving the channel a subscribe. I do nail art tutorials, I do nail reviews for things like this. I also try to do the occasional like informational video and vlog on both nail art and content creation. Thank you so much to all of my subscribers who are here watching today. I hope you all enjoy. So without too much more chit-chatting, let's get into the video. Okay, so I think I'll start with these 3 decorative items here. These are just some little one-off decorative gels and sequins that I ordered. Okay, so maybe we start here. These are one of the more recent things that I ordered. These are the Bonniebee Sakura petal sequins. I picked these up because I have some pink ones. Actually, let me go ahead and grab them so we can compare. Okay, so I have these ones here, and I think I got them off of maybe like Temu or AliExpress. It's one of the two, but they're just these really pretty purple, pink, white, clear, iridescent Sakura petals. And I saw this on Sweetie Nail Supply, and I had to pick it up because look at all the pastel goodness. Look at these colors. You've got yellow, a teal color, a pink that is similar, but it's a little bit more peachy, I would say, than this pink, now that I'm looking at them. A like magenta pink. Maybe it's easier to see on the side. And then also a purple, which the purple does seem to be kind of like the same tone as the one from AliExpress. I'll be honest, I might like the Ali ones more. These ones, they almost have like a pattern on them that I don't know if that was intentional. They are really shiny, but they do have, like I said, the pattern, and it's just the purple ones. Like all the other ones are really nice and smooth and shiny, but for some reason these ones, yeah, I don't know if that's a misprint. Maybe I'll reach out to my sweetie rep. She is amazing. I love her. All the stuff, by the way, I ordered. None of this was gifted to me, so this haul is purely things that I picked up because I wanted to try them. But yeah, I don't know what happened with these ones here. Oh, you know what? These ones here have the same thing going on. It has almost that like spotted effect. I don't know if you can really see it on camera. So maybe it's just like, that's a common occurrence with this kind of sequin. I'm not sure, but it's the same effect. It's like this little dotted effect. Anyway, I picked these up, I think for like $2.50, something like that, off of AliExpress. These ones were $4, not on sale, so you can use a discount code like mine. I have Get Pressed for 10% off that, you know, I'm really thankful whenever people use. And it's takes it down to, what is that, $3.60? So it's like $1 price difference between the two. And I haven't seen these colors before. You might be able to find them on Temu, AliExpress, but I'm happy to have more color options. And then up next for decorative things, I did get a pot of the Divock canvas gel. This is the white. I don't want to open the actual product because I still have some left. I'll show you my already open product, but this is the same Divock canvas gel that is in their canvas mini collection. It's just the white. Here's the pot it comes in if you order this separately, which the pot is really nice. It's got the color on it, which is DC 25. I like this little picture here. It's the little things about the packaging that get me. You know, it clearly marks what you're looking at from the top, so that if I have this like sitting in a shelf and I can only see the top, I'll be able to tell right away what it is. So I do actually really appreciate that little detail. Here's my worn out tube of this that comes with that canvas mini collection. So as you can see, I've used quite a bit. It's not fully out, like I still have a good amount of product, but I find that I've been reaching for this really often in a lot of my recent sets. It is just a thick white painting gel that's meant to mimic like oil paints. It's that kind of consistency. So if you've been around the channel, you might know that my favorite way of doing these kinds of gels is with a palette knife. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get some on here for you. So it is like a paint texture. It's meant to be super thick, so you can do kind of like painted looks with it. I love this stuff. I love it for frosting, anything that requires a little bit more texture. And then it just goes on nice and thick and creamy, just like that. And this stuff, it does dry, no, not dry. It cures down fully matte, so it can be a last step in a nail. You don't have to go and top coat it and lose any of that texture. So here's the swatch all cured, and again, no sticky layer. It's just a matte finish. Although I wouldn't say it's completely matte. Like you can see there's a tiny bit of shine to it. So it's not going to be a fully matte finish, but it's non-tacky. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure I stocked up. And you can order the tube itself on its own, but I think this was a little bit more cost effective to get it in the pot. Oh my gosh, before I forget, I wanted to show you all one of my lovely community members. She is on my Discord. Her tag is Blood Tea, and she does nails as well. She bought a bunch of these super adorable butterfly swatch beads. They're the glass kind. I have been looking for these forever, and she posted my Discord about them. Look at how cute. Ugh, I'm obsessed. But anyway, she ordered these, I believe, from Taobao, and she had to get a bunch of them, and so she was kind enough to be selling them on my Discord. And so I ordered like 5 packs from her because they're freaking adorable, and I can't find them, nor do I think I want to source as many as she did from Taobao directly. And so she was so sweet. She sent me a little note in my package along with these little stickers here. So I believe, and she can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I think she did digital art before doing nails, and so she has these cute little sticker designs. They're all like Sanrio characters, but almost Coraline themed little dolls with the button eyes. So you have like the little twin stars, Hello Kitty, Cinema Roll, My Melody, and Karomi. And they're just super cute, and she sent these stickers to me, and I thought that was so sweet. Honestly, I love having the Discord where people can just come and chat and ask questions and whatnot and share ideas. I think it's so fun. People share their nail designs all the time, and I love seeing what they're making and getting inspired. And it's fun. I started this channel so I could have more people to talk to about nails, and so I'm really happy that I'm getting to do that. It is linked down below if anybody wants to join. It's completely open. All right, for other decorative items, apparently I picked this up. Guys, I don't know. It's been, what, 4 months? It's April. I probably ordered this stuff at the end of December. It's been almost 4 months since I grabbed this from, I think I got this from Zillabue. I don't know. I'll have to double check. Again, it's been forever since I placed these orders. Everything I show will be linked down below so that even though current filming Kai doesn't know where I got this, I will find out for you. But it is a super cute Jello Jello petal gel. So if you look here, this is what it's supposed to look like. It's JS15. And I have the petal gel from Divock that I think is so pretty. I love the Sakura collection from Divock. It's the first full collection that I ever ordered from them, and I've been hooked ever since. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Okay, it's very light. Looking at it here. Yeah, that's pretty. I do really like this kind of flake. It's very organic looking. I think they're like little pieces of paper or something. I'm not sure. But this is really pretty. It is very similar to the Divock one, except for this one has, it looks like no sparkle to it. The Divock one has a really nice like duo chrome sparkle, whereas this one I think is just the petals. So let me swatch it for you. All right, just to break the immersion for a second, because this might help some of you all. I picked up this thing here. It is a soldering arm, so it's magnetic, which is why I have it stuck to my MPA art palette to balance it. But it's just this little teeny tiny clamp. And what I've been doing as of late to ensure that my swatches are like really clear and stable is I set this off to the side and I will adjust it as needed, and then you can clamp your swatch stick in by the handle, and then if I just like adjust that in the center, angle it right, I can zoom in and I have like a hands-free swatch stick, so I can do whatever I need to with my hands and have a nice stable swatch. So yeah, I'll leave the link to this down below in case anybody, you know, are nail content creators and they want to pick it up. They're pretty cheap. I think you can get them for like 10-20 bucks. I got a pair of 2. So I have 2 little arms that I can use. But yeah, you can also just look up, I think it's soldering arms, soldering clamps, something like that. My mom used to work in electronics, so, you know, she had these things. But okay, let's go ahead and swatch this color now that we're done with that little detour. Yeah, okay, so it's just a really nice, subtle petal effect. Very cute. You've got mostly white particles with some pink scattered in there. I honestly don't know how easily it's going to be able to see this. With the white background, I didn't really think about that when I was doing this. You can still see them, but they're just super cute little delicate petal-like flakes. And yeah, I'm happy with this. It's more subtle than the Divock petal polish. I still think I really like the Divock one more, just because I do like that sparkle, but if I'm looking for something, again, not as loud, then this is going to be a perfect option. Okay, and speaking of flakies, I broke. It was on sale. They had that 25% off on Sweetie Nail Supply, and so I did go ahead and get some of the Bonniebee glitters. I honestly, these are quite expensive. Bonniebee tends to be a more expensive brand. I think they're like a smaller brand even in Korea. So I think that's why they're a little bit more pricey. And just to talk about price for a second, because I have seen some stuff going around. I've been ordering from Sweetie Nail Supply for over a year now. And even before that, I was into like collectible items, a lot of which were imports from other countries. I used to be pretty into K-pop, and so I picked up a couple things there. And I guess I'm just used to imports being expensive. When you have things that are coming into the country, especially from a like cosmetic brand where there are certain regulations, they have to pay to like have products registered to be sold in the US. Obviously they have to pay to have the stuff shipped over here. And they have to, well, they don't have to, but I know that they pay translators in-house to make sure that they translate the information for the different brands and whatnot. And so I personally, like, I don't have an issue with their pricing. I understand it's expensive. Don't get me wrong. Trust me, I do. But I've seen some stuff about, like, I don't know, people saying that they're making a ton of money through these markups, and it's just, and I hate drama, so I'm not like trying to get caught in the middle of anything. I understand the pricing and why a lot of imports are expensive. I also know that they are trying to bring the price down and trying to work with the suppliers to maybe get things a little bit cheaper, which would be amazing for us. If you have other places that you buy from, totally full power to you. I know that there are other options out there. So yeah, all I'm getting at is just I understand the pricing, and so that's why, I like working with Sweetie Nail Supply, and I'm hoping that they do, that they are able to make things a little bit cheaper here at some point. But for now, I will continue to save up for it and buy the products, that I think are worth it. So these ones, my whole point with that long aside is these are expensive. I understand. And so I usually only buy them when they're on sale, but they're these little like iridescent glitter flakes. I'm scared to open them, to be honest, because they look like they might be kind of messy, but let's open this one because purple is one of my faves. Let's see. So they do come nice and sealed, which is good because definitely would not want this opening in your package. And this is violet purple, or viola purple. Ooh, sorry. And it's the new one. And I'm gonna try not to get this all over my gloves. Oh my God. And it's flying everywhere. Oh no. I'm gonna try to get a shot really quickly and then close this. They're so thin and so pretty. That shift. Okay, I have to close this. It's going absolutely everywhere. Oh, geez. So yeah, plan to not get it all over gloves was quite the fail. Oh no. Oh, that's okay, because these are just, it's stunning. Now, trust me, I know that you can get like some cheaper ones off of Temu, AliExpress. In my experience, those ones are a little bit thicker, so they're not quite as like flat, and they won't, they'll be a little bit more bulky, but they do work perfectly fine. I had the opportunity to splurge a little bit, so I went ahead and got some of these. I do want to get some more of like this kind of decorative stuff off of Temu to compare with you all. Tamara from The Devil Wears Press-On, she does an amazing job with that, so definitely check out her channel for like comparisons between the more expensive brands and some cheaper options. So that's this color. I will just zoom in on these other ones so you can really see them and maybe get a feel for the shift, the color. I don't want to open it because I already made such a mess. This one's grapefruit, and then this one's blue Hawaii. Similar to the purple one, although this one has more of that like teal blue shift, and this one is more of, the violet shift. Very, very cool though. I'm excited to use these in some sets. I need to practice my nuance nail art though, because it's not something I usually do, to be honest. All right, so up next is this Bonniebee gradation palette, and I have been looking at these as well for quite a while. They're expensive though, once again. I think it's $25 for this. However, I have high hopes. These are not the same as an eyeshadow palette, so I just want to make that clear. These are going to be almost like pure pigment, whereas sometimes eyeshadow palettes are let down with added talc and other things that help them adhere to the nail and whatnot. Not the nail, sorry, the eye. So these are going to be a little bit of a different formula, but it is meant to be used for ombres on your nails, like aura patterns or ombres. So let's go ahead and give it a quick try. Honestly, you should probably ditch these. Okay. Get yourself like a nice fluffy makeup brush of some sort. This is going to apply it so much better than, you know, those little eyeshadow applicators. But here's what it looks like. Unfortunately, it looks like mine maybe had a little bit of some spillage. I think it should be fine. I just want to dab this in real quick and just see what happens. Let's do this purple. Ooh, yeah, okay, that pigment comes up really easily. That's what I was wondering, is how easy you could get some of that on the brush, and it's super soft. I'm like barely applying pressure when I do that. So that makes me excited to use this. Let me go ahead and matte top coat a nail first, and then I can show you how it applies. So for matte top coat, I'm gonna try the Cotton Matte from Yogurt Nail. You actually don't want a non-powder matte top coat. So one of the ones that are good for chrome or anything like that, because you actually want the powder to stick. So definitely use like a regular matte top coat. I honestly don't have like a good matte for this because I don't usually do this method for auras. So we'll see if this works. This is going to be kind of new to me. So I'm just going to paint on an even layer. And then I'm going to give this a full cure in my nail lamp for 60 seconds. Okay, so now that we have our matte surface, I'm just gonna dab on whatever was on the brush already and see what that looks like. Ooh, okay, yeah. Lots of pigment comes off pretty easily, so you probably want to be careful with how much pigment you load on your brush because, ooh, that is intense. And honestly, you probably want a slightly denser brush than I'm using because it seems to really be spreading that out. Okay. Very nice. So far I'm noticing a couple things. I really like how easy this pigment like grabs onto the polish. However, I don't think I'd recommend this specifically. I don't think I'd recommend though the Cotton Matte gel for doing this sort of pigment blending because I can see streaks in it, and I think that's from the gel itself. It's not from the pigment powder. The pigment powder is gorgeous, so I can see why a lot of people do like this pigment powder because it's super soft. It applies really well onto the nail. I feel like if I had the right matte top coat, I could get a really smooth, seamless blend, and probably a smaller makeup brush is what I need. So yeah, yes to the pigment powder, no to using it with though the Cotton Matte. If anyone has a really nice matte top coat that they really like doing this sort of aura ombre look with, please let me know in the comments. I've heard a lot of good things about Function of Vex and their matte top coat, so I might try that one out, but let me know if you have a favorite brand specifically for doing like these aura ombre nails, because I'd love to get some more use out of this palette here. I think it is really pretty. I love the kind of like springy shades in this specific palette. I think they have 4 versions that you can order. If you don't want to go pick up a palette, this is not part of the haul, but I will just show you really quickly. Just real quick, these aren't part of the haul, but if you don't want to spend a bunch of money on a palette, like a pigment palette, I do actually recommend checking out these soft pastels by Faber-Castell. I think it was Dreamy Little Nails that I got this hack from, but she just uses these as pigment powders. So you get a bunch of colors. Now granted, this was expensive. Like I think this was like 50 bucks because Faber-Castell is a pretty well-known brand. And these are soft pastels, which means you can take your little makeup brush, rub it over the stick, and it's gonna pick up some of that pigment. These are harder to work with, so they're not as soft as those like pigment palettes. So you are going to have to work a little bit harder with these, but you get a really nice variety of colors. I will say, this did seem to blend more effortlessly than these do. These you have to, you know, work in a little bit harder, but they are just a potential cheaper alternative and you can get them off of Amazon. All right, so speaking of powders, I got more chromes. So these two here are gels that are going to work with your chromes. This is a white, non-wipe potted gel that you can use to make chrome designs. And then this is one of my favorite matte top coats for doing chrome isolation. It's the May Mode Art Gel. And you can use this for colored pencil designs or, like I said, chrome isolation. I do have one already open, so let me grab that one. So here is the May Mode Art Gel. I already had a bottle of this. I just wanted to pick up another one because I do use it fairly often for my chrome isolation. It's this super thick formula. You can still get a thin layer, but it is so smooth. And when it cures, it does leave behind a sticky layer. So it is a wipe matte top coat, but it absolutely does an amazing job of being dust resistant, and your chrome will only stick to whatever, you know, non-wipe design you paint on. None of it will stick to this mat. And to prove how good this is, we'll go ahead and swatch these two chromes here using this. This is the Doughy Multi-Liner, the multi-white. It's the, I think, Tong Gel, if you are trying to find it on the website, Sweetie Nail Supply. And this is just a potted white non-wipe gel. Look at how thick it is. Like you can fully turn this over, just ever so slightly, a little bit of pooling, but almost none. Okay, so to prove how much this works, let's go ahead and put some on a nail swatch so that we can swatch our chrome. So again, this formula is quite thick, but you can get a decently thin layer if you really attempt to. And once I'm happy with that, I'm going to cure it for the full 60 seconds and then wipe away the tacky layer. So once it's cured, you'll notice that the surface looks shiny, and that's because you have to wipe away the tacky layer. This is a wipe art gel. You do need to wipe away the inhibition layer. I'm just using isopropyl alcohol, 91%. And then once it dries down, it's nice and smoothly matte. So let's see how thick this is. Oh yeah, that's really thick. I would say this is similar to like the D-Gel liner gel probably. It doesn't look quite as cool toned of a white. Like this to me is more of a, I don't know, like a neutral, maybe even eggshell white. So it's not quite like the stark white that the D-Gel liner gel is. Now I'm gonna lay it on quite thick because I really want to test how well it holds its texture. Sorry, I don't know how other people do it. I have such a hard time like painting while talking. So pardon me for not saying much right now. Okay, so that's a nice little, I don't know, filigree pattern. I don't have a reference right now, so it's something. Okay, so this does still have, you know, some slight self-leveling capabilities. Like these little dots here are smoothing out. They're not staying really stiff on the edges. Because when I'm doing chrome, I do like to cure it slightly less than like full cure time. And then when I do the chrome, I'll go from the bottom and cure again. Now, to be fair, I can do this because I'm using press-ons. I can like cure the underside no problem. If you're doing them on your nails, just for the sake of like avoiding any potential allergies, I would do full cure time. But if you're doing press-ons, you have a little bit more wiggle room. So I'm gonna cure this for 40 seconds. And by the way, I love when packaging comes with these little plastic stoppers. It keeps things so much cleaner. So I'm a big fan of these in my potted gels. So with that design, I did want to try out the Blonde Blonde Gold Chrome Powder. The one that I use the most right now is the Nail Bio Gold. But I did want to branch out. I wanted to see what this one was all about because I do really like the other Blonde Blonde Chrome Powders that I have. I have Fireball and Sangria, and they're both stunning and pretty good for the price. Like, again, chrome powders are one of those things. They're super expensive. For high quality ones, that's not to say you can't find good quality cheap ones, but I tend to notice that the ones that charge a lot, they're not just doing it for no reason. Usually these are like the finest milled. But this one I think is like mid-range. I don't know, I'll have the price up there. I don't think it was like Bonniebee chrome powder expensive. Ooh, wow, okay. That is one shake away from spilling. Let me kind of get that back in there. Okay, so here's our design. For the sake of just quickly trying it out, I am going to use this eyeshadow applicator. I like taking it right off the lid because then there's a smaller amount and I can get a more controlled amount on my eyeshadow applicator instead of like dipping into this pot here and risking spilling a bunch of it everywhere. Let's go ahead and see how this rubs into the multi-white. I actually have a plan to do a fully like chrome dedicated video with all sorts of tips and tricks on how to apply it. So if that sounds interesting, let me know. It's probably not going to be this month, most likely the next, because I'm so stacked this month. For those of you who know, I teach high school, and so I've got prom this weekend, which is why I'm trying to get this haul done before the weekend. I'm the teacher sponsor for the student council, and so I'm doing all of the prom planning and the setup and whatnot, so I'll be super busy. So I've got prom, and then I have next weekend, we have 2 plays happening. I'm helping with concessions for both on Thursday and Friday, and then we've got a Saturday ELA study session before the kids' tests, and then the week after that is testing. And then I've got graduation coming up soon because I'm the teacher sponsor for the senior class. So yeah, lots going on right now. I'm taking it day by day, trying to get enough sleep. So I do apologize if there are, maybe a missed video here and there over the next month or so. It's chaotic this time of year. But yeah, there's the chrome applied. Now, the color's super pretty. I am noticing that it is rubbing off pretty easily, and I think that's because of the multi-gel. All right, so to give that a fair test, the chrome, I'm gonna go in with my trusty Jello Jello Edge Gel. This stuff is super thick, really for textured chrome details, so let me get a texture brush. Okay, so now we go in with chrome powder, and there we go. That's sticking very nicely. That's a really pretty gold. It's very much like a cool toned gold. I would not say this is like a yellow gold at all. It would probably look really nicely over black. And then to wipe away the extra, I'm just gonna go in with a makeup sponge. So yeah, it's a pretty gold chrome. It is very similar to the Nail Bio Gold. It's that nice like champagne-y silvery gold rather than a really yellow gold. I do want to try to find other gold options just to test them all out, but this one is nice. It's very shiny, very pretty, and look at that texture from that edge gel. This doughy multi-white I will have to play with more to see if it will be good for chrome isolation. It is a really nice pigmented white painting gel though. So if you're looking for, you know, something to do white patterns with, definitely this is a great option. It's a little bit cheaper than like the D-Gel painting gel. I'll have to experiment a little bit more with chrome powder to see if it will really work for chrome isolation. All right, so speaking of chrome, I got the my&bee Art non-wipe top. This is specifically supposed to be for chrome application, so I'm excited to try it out. And I thought I would try out this little chrome here for you with it. This is the Dino Aqua Peach color, and it's this gorgeous, well, aqua to peach shifting chrome powder. I haven't tried this brand before, so I'm excited to give it a go. So let's see. Oh, interesting. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is a nice and thin texture, which I actually really appreciate because when you're doing chrome, it can add excess layers because you're having to do like a chrome coat and then top coat over that. So I do appreciate that this is nice and thin. Let's see how it works. So I'm just gonna paint on a nice even layer. And then this here, let's open her up. It is looking really pretty in the packaging. I love that like peachy pink to blue shift. Ooh, oh wow, oh my God. For some reason, when I took off the cap, it just glows blue. That is so gorgeous. It's like almost fluorescent bright. I don't know if you can see that. That's crazy. Okay, let's see what it looks like. You know what, since I already have it out, I'm just gonna take that makeup sponge and dip it into the powder. Take this all off the lid here, and I'm just gonna use this. I am feeling lazy, and I don't wanna get an eyebrow sponge. Not sponge, an eyeshadow applicator out. Ooh, okay. Let me get a little bit more because it's going on patchy. And so if you get chrome that's going on patchy, the reason could very well be that you don't have enough on your implement. So let me get a little bit more. Yep, and then you just rub it in. Uh-oh, I don't know if you can hear my cat. He's unhappy right now, it sounds like. A little bit smoggy. And you know what? I hate this sponge method. I should have just stuck to my tried and true because the sponge is absorbing too much of the powder. So you know what? My gloves are already dirty. We're gonna go right in with our gloves. And there we go. Okay, now we get that nice even coat. I do also like using a silicone tool for this. Again, I'm being lazy. I don't want to get up, it's late. And that's so pretty. That's stunning. With chrome powders, you really want to burnish that in there. You really want to rub it in. Okay, now I can take this and I can wipe away any extra. And look at that shine, that shimmer. That's super pretty. Wow, what a nice luster. I really like that color combo of the like peachy color and the teal. Now this would look obviously very different over white and over black. Over black, you're gonna get more of the the teal shift, and over white, you get more of that peach color. Very nice, very pretty. All right, so here are the 2 chrome patterns. And again, I do plan on doing that dedicated chrome video, so if you have any questions or things you want me to cover in it, let me know in the comments down below. It's going to be quite extensive. I already plan to cover like multiple application techniques with a sponge, with a silicone tool, with your, your hand, multiple types of chrome gels, so chrome isolation, full nail chrome, and ways to get more longevity out of your fully chromed nails. So yeah, let me know though if you have anything that you want me to directly try to address. All right, tangent. I took a little break because I had to change my gloves out after creating a chrome mess. If you haven't tried these, they're so good. They're like these weird peelable gummies. I see them all over online. They have a bunch of different flavors. I love the mango one. I really want to try the lychee one. Unfortunately, like everywhere that's nearby is out of stock. If I wanted them, I'd have to order them online and it would be like $12 for a pack about twice as big. I haven't tried it yet, but these are so good. Okay, so I guess I shouldn't have changed gloves because I have more powders. So these are the Bonniebee magnetic powders. You have a gold and you have a silver, and these are supposed to be able to mix into any sort of like syrup gel and create a magnetic gel. So I really wanted to try them out because I think there's so many possibilities. So let's go ahead and mix up some gels. Okay, so I had these out anyway. These are the DIAMI 4 Seasons Summer Collection colors, number 45 and 52. They are jelly polishes. So I wanted to mix in these chrome powders with these magnetic powders with a jelly polish with lots of transparency so that you can see the shine. So let's do the, what do you think? Silver with this one, gold with this one maybe? Okay, now I've heard that a little goes a long way with these. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my colors and just put down a little bit of each one. Maybe a little bit more, just because we do want to swatch it, I absolutely love the summer colors from the DIAMI 4 Seasons collection. They are jelly polishes, though I will say they are not like the clearest jelly polishes I've used, and I think that might be in part because they are HEMA free. So they're HEMA free, and I think they're like 13 free. So I think that might be part of why they're not like 100% jellies, but they do have an amazing transparency to them. They're such bright, fun shades. So let's go ahead and mix this in. I'm gonna do just a teeny tiny bit to start. I've heard that these go a super long way, which makes sense. Look at how fine that powder is. That's crazy. It's clumped up almost like flour. I'm actually gonna take it from the lid like I usually do. Now I'm just gonna do like maybe even, I don't know, like that much. Even that seems like a lot though. Let's see what happens. Ooh, yep, okay. That, yeah, very strong. You can see that it kind of changed the color just slightly as that powder mixed in, but I think this is gonna be really pretty. It's almost like a rose gold now. And if you can see that, the shimmer that's in this now. All right, so that's looking really pretty. Let's do the silver with the blue. Now these do come with eyeshadow applicators because I'm pretty sure they're supposed to double as chrome powders. I'll be honest, I don't care to use them that way. I want to use them as the magnetic powders. All right, so here's what the silver looks like. Very, very finely milled. That's crazy. It's truly like powder. Okay, that sounded stupid. It's like flour, like cornstarch or something like that. Just super, super fine. And I have heard that you want to be careful with this, not to use too much. So I'm literally going to go in with that much. That's it. And that already seemed like too much, maybe. Whoops. Yeah, that was way too much. Okay, so lesson learned. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to save this by adding more blue. And actually, I'm going to put the blue over there and add this to the blue. Like, it's still a pretty color. It's just very grayed out now, this blue. So let's take some of this and add it over here. There we go. That's a little bit more vibrant. We don't lose too much of that color to the silver powder. So to test out how well these magnetize, I actually did pick up this rod magnet from Sweetie. It was $4, $6, something like that. It wasn't that expensive. Honestly, you can get these cheaply off of like Temu, AliExpress, even probably Amazon. I don't know if you could get it for like $4 though. I think that's all I paid for this, which isn't bad actually. But I wanted this one because it is one of those large rod magnets, so it's gonna be really strong, but it's hexagonal, so it won't roll away on you. You know, it will if you bump it, of course, but it's not going to roll around if you place it on your mat. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so I can already see the shift. Very neat. And then this one, let's see. Yeah, this one shifts too. This right here is very apparent. More subtle here where I didn't use as much. But it's still there. It definitely is still shimmery. Let's go ahead and put this on a nail though so we can really see. And to apply them, I'm going to use one of my favorite potted gel application brushes. This is the square from Mayo. I believe it's the Peona brush. But it's just this really nice soft square brush that I like using for these kinds of gels because it doesn't leave too many large streaks. All right, so I don't have a ton of this, so honestly I'm gonna go in with just like a small area. I should have made more. But alas, I did not. But this brush is so soft, you can just kind of like float that color on and it's not gonna leave any like harsh streaks or anything like that. That's why I really like it. I say that as I mess up the swatch because it was perfect the way it was. Okay, so there is our color. Okay, yeah. I mean, that shine is there. You can definitely see it. Gonna try to do that beveled effect. So very cute. I will say this, you'll probably want to flash cure really quickly because that glitter is already dissipating, that powder. It's already moving around. And that will also depend on the base color that you use. Like these base colors are on the thinner side. So the thinner the polish that you suspend the particles in, the faster they're going to move. Okay, so that is quite pretty. It's a very small particle magnetic gel. So it's giving more of that like shimmery look, that shimmery effect than a sparkly effect. If you like that, I highly recommend these. That is so cool. And now I can customize any jelly, any sheer polish I want to have this like shiny effect. That's gorgeous. Let's try the gold one. All right, so here's the pink and gold. Ooh, that's really pretty when you do like the French look. Okay, the gold is not quite as powerful, so I would probably recommend using a bit more of the pigment with the gold. Like you can definitely still see the shift there. It's just not quite as stark as with the silver, but it is still really pretty. Okay, and here is the pink with the gold, also really pretty. This one again, I would recommend you use a little bit more of the powder. It's not quite as strong, but it's still that nice glowy, but it still creates that really nice glowy effect. And I'm, again, just really excited to play around with these more. Ignore this, I accidentally got some on the underside. But yeah, I am happy to have these and happy to experiment. All right, so I got 3 my&bee magnetic gels. And again, this is my first time trying this brand. Heard amazing things though, so I'm super excited to try them out. These 2 are from oh gosh, what is it? Oh, this is their mermaid mag, but I could have sworn I got the Uru collection. This one here is one of their flash gels, flash magnetic gels. So let's go ahead and we can start with this one. This is supposed to be like a nice deep red flash magnetic gel. Let's see what it looks like out of the bottle. Oh wow, okay. That is bright. Ooh, that's so like glittery and pretty. Wow. It is quite thin, I will say. Like it's not like other magnetic gels that I've used. I could compare it to the Aurora Queen Moonlight collection. That was a thinner magnetic gel. All right, let's give this a little bit of a swatch. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh my gosh. That is really gorgeous. It almost has like iridescent sparkles in there too, I think. That's really nice. Wow, there's that nice beveled effect. Very pretty. The particles in here move super easily. That's really pretty. I definitely understand now why people talk about my&bee in such high regard. It's quite stunning. Ooh, very nice. Okay. Yeah, super happy to have this one. All right, so that's Tsuya Flash Mag number 6. Very pretty. So this is Mermaid number 4. And it is this really nice, like purpley shifting gel. Super, super fine particles. It looks like it has almost hollow in it. I don't know. Let's go ahead and swatch it. Okay, so I'm trying to do like a nice thicker coat since I don't have a base color under this. It would probably look best with some sort of base coat underneath. Because the base of this is a little, it's almost like a little bit of a gray. So it would probably just be pretty with some color peeking out from beneath. Even like a white base would be pretty. Oh, wow. Okay, now I remember why I got these ones. Look at that. That's pretty. It's like a purpley blue base, but then it's got these golden yellow shimmers. So it just looks like a sunset. I think that's, yeah. It's like a sunset. That's really nice. Okay, yeah, that's why I got these ones. Because they're gorgeous. That's right. Very, very cool. Such a neat color combo in my opinion. Those like cool toned blues and purples to the pinky peachy orangey tones. All right, so up next is mermaid number 2. Ooh, okay, and this one is like a lavender to, I don't know, almost like a goldy green color. Very interesting. Oh wow, it's even more purple on the nail. Like in the bottle, it was looking very much like that gold green tone, but on the nail itself, it's very purple. All right, so let's magnetize this one. Ooh, that's like a rainbow. Wow. That's cool. Oh, super interesting. Yeah, you get like, depending on the angle, like blue, orange, like a peachy teal shift with that purple underneath. Oh, that's crazy. This is very much giving mermaid. With all those different tones, that's kind of insane. I like when they come together and you get both of them overlaid. Super pretty. Whoa, okay. Very, very nice. I see, I get the hype. I understand why people really like these. Very neat. Okay. Okay, so that was my&bee, but I do have a couple other just like one-offs here. F-Gel, if you are in the US, unfortunately, you can only get at Zillabue. Sweetie Nail Supply sells F-Gel to Canada. Develop is a brand that Susie XXI sells on Junie US. I believe this one is a cat eye too, but all of these are just one-offs that I picked up because I really liked the colors. And actually, I think this was a free gift with my order when she launched her shop. So let's go ahead and swatch these ones here. So this one is FG69. I believe it's from the Angel Eyes collection. Right there, from the nail. I do really like the from the nail packaging. I think it's so luxurious looking with like the gold embossed design here. And this is supposed to be like a mauve purple with holographic cat eye. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not sure how well you can see on the camera, but I definitely see the hollow. Hoping to find that rainbow in this. And this is another thinner consistency cat eye gel. It's not super thick. Like I'm used to the Divock cat eye gels, and those are pretty thick. Oh wow, okay, I just mixed it. And I got even more of the hollow. Okay, make sure you mix these, I would say, before using them. All right, let's give it a swatch. Oh, I got a wonky brush. Sometimes that happens. You get one of these like little scraggly brushes. I've heard that if you like clean off all the gel, you can put it in hot water and it'll kind of like melt it back into shape. I'm lazy. I just paint with the other side. Okay, so here we have this color. But it's a very sheer pink with that hollow glitter. That's really pretty. That's really pretty. So gorgeous. A little bit of a thicker layer here. I'm gonna turn it over, self-level a little bit. All right, let's see what she does. Ooh. Okay, okay. The effect here is much more subtle than some other cat eye gels that I've tried, but you can definitely see that rainbow. Ooh, that's pretty. Count how many times I've said that's pretty in this video. It's gonna be a lot, but it is. It's very nice and shimmery and fairy-like. And look at that rainbow. I think the beveled effect here works best, where you can kind of tilt it and see the whole rainbow. That's so cool. I don't know the science behind holo, but I think it's so neat. I should probably look it up because it really is interesting to me how you get that full spectrum. Very cool. Okay, so that is the number 69 from the nail. And then I also got this gorgeous green color. It's like a nice bright green, and it's number 195. Again, these are just one-offs that I was looking at and found I really liked. Oh, wow. Yep, that's vibrant. It's like the perfect kind of like bright lime green color. Amazing for summer for sure. And this is one of those like glowy magnetic gels with the super small particles. Okay, that's much more sheer on the nail itself. Though you could always do 2 coats or try to get one thicker coat. I've heard that doing one thicker coat is the way to go with magnetic gels whenever possible. So I'm gonna layer some more of this on here. Maybe I should mix it. It's looking like it needed mixed. Whoops. Ooh. Wow, yeah, okay. That is a nice and shiny green. That's such a pretty shine. Oh my goodness. I will say, because this polish is thin though, you probably want to work fast. It's already pooling at the edges. So I'm just gonna let it pool in the center again and then work quickly. Oh my god, guys, I need to go to bed. It's 11:30 already. I started this at like 9:30. Actually, no, I started setting up probably at 8:30. I think I started recording at 9. I was not expecting it to take this long. Okay, and then let's try this one here. Again, I don't know if this is magnetic or not, but it's DG12 from Develop, and it looks to be this gorgeous shimmery purple. Ooh. Okay, if you've been around, you know that I love purple, and this is a really nice light lilac color. And it's a lot more sparkly than I anticipated. I guess I should have though, considering the bottle. It's very accurate to the bottle. That's nice. Okay, let's swatch it and see if it's magnetic. But it goes on really nicely. It's a really cute purple color. It is quite sheer, so I'm holding out hope that it is the magnetic one, because usually magnetic gels, they have to have more of a sheer base so you can see the particles. Oop, yep, that's a mag gel. Okay. It's interesting. It's got like really, it's got like not too small, so it's not like a glowy magnetic gel, but it's also not super chunky glitters. It's like a nice in between. And even when you demagnetize it, it still leaves behind a little bit of a sparkle. Yeah, so that's pretty. This one's quite subtle, so do really nicely as like the background to some nail art or something. But she is sparkly. All right, and we're down to the final few gels. I have these 2 and 3 more. So these 2 are again more one-offs. This is from Doughy, and it is the Builder Gel. And then this is just a jelly green polish that, you know, I picked up when I was getting all the other stuff from Zillabue. I guess I was in quite the green mood then, so let's start with that one actually. So this is FS96, and it's just this super, super deep jelly green. Well, that's definitely giving Slytherin vibes. All right, I'll be honest, I didn't do the most careful job with painting this because I'm trying to rush so I can go to bed. But here's coat number 1, and here's a second coat. I'm sure if I were painting a little bit more carefully, I could get more of an even coat, especially up by the curve here. But I will say, for as hastily as I'm painting this on, it does seem to level out quite nicely. So I would anticipate if you used like really nice, thin, even coats, you'd get some great even color payoff. Yeah, very nice. That's a gorgeous, gorgeous deep green jelly color. All right, so up next is the doughy Aube. Aube is how I'm saying it. That's probably wrong, but this is number 2, and it is her builder gel. So it's a colored builder. Here's what it looks like. Ooh. Okay, yeah, it is very much like the nudie pink. It's a little bit thicker than the regular doughy gel. Honestly, it's not that much thicker. Like, I would say this is like a low to medium viscosity. Okay, I'm gonna flip this over to self level. You know, that does actually level pretty nicely. I do wish it were just ever so slightly thicker, I will say. Because to me, a builder is going to be, you know, a little bit thicker than the standard product. This one's not much thicker, but it does seem to give you really even coverage even with a thick layer. So maybe that's why it's marketed as a builder, because you can build up the color in one layer and it's nice and smooth. And for our last 3 colored gels, we have these ones here from RawRaw. So I had never heard of this brand before I ordered from Junie, from Susie XXI on Instagram. They have really cute bottles though. I love these handles, and they're also really functional. So I did actually use, what color was it? Shoot, I don't know where it is. I got a jelly black from them too. If you want to see the jelly black, I'll link the video up in the corner. I did an Espa inspired nail set. Lots of like metallic elements, piercings, 3D mermaid skeletons. So if that sounds good to you, make sure to check out that video. But I also got these fun bright spring colors, so let's give these a swatch. So up first we have this teal color, and this is actually number 1. What this looks like. Ooh, pretty accurate to the bottle. It's like a really pretty seafoam greeny color. And And this is a thicker consistency, but not too thick. It's not like loopy or anything like that. It's just a nice thicker consistency gel. All right, and coat number 2. And there we go. It does self-level pretty nicely. Like I hastily painted on that second coat. You get a really even layer. I am a fan of the formula. It's nice. The next color is this like lime green, and it is number 13. Ooh, okay, I am mistaken. This is like it's still like a lime green, but it is a lot more of a white base than I thought. You know what it reminds me of? If you've ever gotten like a cilantro sour cream sauce, kind of like that. That, however, is gorgeous, and that might be a 1-coater. So that's 1 coat. Granted, it is a thicker coat, but that is pretty nice even color payoff. I think I'm gonna leave it there because it's just a swatch, but that's nice. And last but not least, for the RawRaw, I got number 21 because I wanted like a nice bright sunny yellow. Oh, and this is like, oh wow. Okay, this is almost like an orange, I would say. Which if you saw my last haul, the orange that I got, honestly, it wasn't like as orange as I thought it would be, so this is good. Let's see what it looks like on the nail though. And here's coat number 2. All right, and there's coat number 2, just a really nice, vibrant, like yellowy orange color. Would be super cute, like Winnie the Pooh, a bee set, something like that. All right, so I am back. It is the next day. I am refreshed. Well, kind of, I didn't say much, but I wanted to try out these mushroom sponges from DIAMI. So I ordered these because I recently did an ombre look on my Espa inspired nails. I'll try to remember to link the video in the corner. But I was using some kind of like cheap ombre sponges, and I really was wondering what the difference was between something like this and something like that. If it's really a sponge that makes all the difference, or if it's the gel itself that makes the difference when you're doing the ombre aura looks. So I picked up these from Sweetie Nail Supply. They aren't cheap, so it's definitely one of those things where I'm, curious to see if this makes enough of a difference to warrant buying nicer sponges. I do love that they're rounded. It means that I don't have to like take the square sponge and try to fold it and manipulate it, so it has a rounded edge. They do really look like mushrooms. I mean, they're kind of cute, I'll be honest. I'm kind of a sucker for cute things. Okay, so you get a lot of them in here. It's, 50 pieces. So you do get a decent amount at least. Oh, and I think I read that they're reusable. So for gel polish, you'd probably have to clean them pretty well with, I don't know, maybe like some acetone or even just alcohol. I'll see if I can clean it with just some alcohol. All right, so I do have one of these like metal grabby things. This one's pretty cheap though. I think I got it off of Temu. And I just wanted to compare these two sponges. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so here's like a cheaper sponge that I got off of Temu, and here's the one off of Sweetie Nail Supply. Now, feels similar. I will say this one feels a little bit more dense. Like, I know it doesn't look like it because this one looks like it's folding more. It just feels like it has more bounce to it. Whereas this one, when you compress it, it doesn't like bounce back. It's maybe harder to compress, but it doesn't have the same bounciness to it, if that makes any sense. But let's go ahead and try them both. Now, I am actually currently waiting for my YHH palette from Amy's clients. I ordered that one and it is on pre-order, so I don't think it's even shipped yet, but I wanted to try these with my MPI art palette because these are also painting gels and they have that nice, like really thick consistency, right? So in my head, I'm wondering if these will work for an ombre as well. All right, so let's get a little bit of this purple here. It looks like I've already used it. A little bit of color contamination, but that's okay. All right, so I'm gonna start with the square one first. And I'm just gonna do, I think, a French, because usually what I do with these huge sponges is I'll cut them in half so that I can pinch the sponge here and get a rounded edge. But I'll just do a French. Just dip my sponge in this. And then in a clean area, kind of tap the paint into the sponge. Get it nice and saturated. Now these are not marketed as ombre gels, so just keep that in mind. I'm personally testing this myself. It's not marketed that way. Also, this is not a matte top coated nail tip. I'm just being lazy. Typically a matte top coat's gonna work better. Okay, so not bad. You can see, though, there's definitely some texture. Like, you can see the dots still of the sponge, but ultimately, I mean, like, that actually worked pretty well. The black I was using, it was a little bit more apparent, but that doesn't look too bad. I'll do one more layer to see what kind of blend we can get. You know, a little bit more saturated at the tip. Yeah, okay, so just, it's not the nicest blend, I will say. I'm doing a pretty poor job of getting this to blend softly at the edge. But again, these paints maybe are not the best for this method. All right, let's see if this works. Okay. I mean, there does seem to be a little bit of a difference. Granted, this one only has one coat, but right now I feel like you can tell, especially in the area where it blends, this one is a little bit more textured, only slightly though. See what a second layer looks like. I do feel like actually though, this one's a little bit easier to blend with, and I don't know if it's because of that shape, but that looked quite pretty. Uh-oh. Okay, ignore that. I kind of like overworked the polish and now it's coming up. That's a disaster. Whoops. Okay, so, if we ignore the mess at the tip and we just look at the blended area here, this one is definitely more smooth. I will say you can see kind of like the clear demarcation there where I went from the first layer to the second. So this one does blend out more smoothly. I feel like it's slightly less textured, but not by too much. I think where this product is really going to shine is in like the aura look. So let me show you that. So where this rounded sponge is really going to be useful is for that like center look where you want to blend out from the middle, because that's hard to do with a square sponge. Whereas with this rounded sponge, it's pretty easy. And that's pretty seamless. Now I will say one more time that these are not necessarily meant to be used with this gel here. These are meant for specifically the DIAMI, oh gosh, what is it? The baby boomer gels. I think that's what they are. They're their version of a gradation polish, a gradation gel. I wanted to test them out with the MPA art palette, and honestly, like for the amount of work that took, not bad at all. And I didn't have to pull out my whole airbrush kit. I do have an airbrush kit and I do have the acrylic paints. It's just like, it's kind of a big step, right? So I would say this method works pretty well. The Bonniebee palette that I got earlier, I'm also excited to play around with. There are just a number of different methods you can use to get nice gradations, and I am excited to play around with it more. Okay, now it did also say that these could be cleaned, so I do want to try that. I'm just gonna take my 91% isopropyl alcohol. Okay, now can I get the gel out? I mean, it definitely is coming out, but I also feel like it's just seeping into the rest of the sponge. I don't know. Like, it definitely took the color out, but it still seems kind of stained, and I don't know if that's gonna go away. So washable, maybe. I probably will have to, you know, experiment a little bit more with that, but currently I do not have the time. So for now, I'm gonna say possibly washable. Like, it still feels soft. I'll let it dry and see what happens. All right, up next is a brush cleaning gel, and I got this on recommendation from Hope over at Nails Box of Hope. I'll be honest, I'm a lazy brush cleaner. I use my isopropyl alcohol, and then sometimes I'll load the brush with a little bit of clear gel, and that's kind of all I do. I really should be taking better care of my brushes, especially since I have, you know, some more expensive, nicer brushes. So when she reviewed this and she said it was really nice to work with and it didn't have a harsh smell, I decided to go ahead and get it, because my biggest worry with these kinds of products are always, is it going to have a really strong scent? So you get 50 grams and it's a pump dispenser. So that's really nice. You can just pump out as much as you need. I don't think I will actually be able to get the safety data sheet for this in time for the video, but if you're watching a little bit later, I will try to update maybe the description with the ingredients, because I am curious as to what is in this. But for now, let's go ahead and clean up the brush I used earlier. This is that square Mayo brush. Now what happens when you're using just alcohol is you can actually dry out the bristles. I definitely would not recommend acetone on brushes as much as possible, because that's absolutely going to dry out your bristles and cause like some fraying. Now I'm just going to use this little disposable palette here. Just pump a little bit of this on here. Ooh, interesting. It's very like gelatinous. And then I'm just going to start swiping my brush through, really getting in between all of the bristles. It does smell a little bit like alcohol. There probably is some alcohol in here, but I'm hoping there's also like some conditioning agents that will help keep your brush nice and soft. All right, and then I'm just gonna wipe that with a lint-free wipe. Kind of like shape it into place. And that looks pretty nice. It's not looking like frayed or anything. Looks decent. Okay, and last but not least, we are going to try the Crear peel off base. I'm really hoping that this stuff works well and I can use it to immediately remove a nail because I'm going to apply a nail. I can't really afford to have nails on right now because tomorrow I have to go and do prom setup for the senior prom. So, yeah, I can't really have long nails on right now. So I'm going to try to apply just a single extension, maybe on like my pinky finger, and then see if I can immediately remove it. So this will not be a longevity test, but rather a how easy does this stuff actually come off test. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so for this stuff, it is HEMA free and TPO free. You cure it for 30 to 60 seconds. It looks like it's TMPTA free. Yeah, it's a new brand to me, so I've not tried Crear before. They do make other kinds of polish, so it's not just basic gels. They have colored gels. And I like the green of the box. That's very nice. All right, so here is the bottle. Let's see what kind of consistency this is. I do like a medium viscosity to thick viscosity base. Yeah, and that's like a medium viscosity. And the brush is nice. It's got one of those curved brushes so that you can get really close to the cuticle. So I'm going to apply a thin coat of this on my nail. First I'm just going to buff the surface because I want to give it a fair test. Because if I didn't buff the surface, there's a chance that with my nails and how like oily and shiny they tend to be, there's a chance that it would just pop right off anyway. Now I'm just going to cleanse it with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Yeah, that round brush is really nice. It just lets you get right up into the cuticle area. I really hope that more brands start doing these round brushes, especially for their base gels. That was super easy, super quick, really nice application, and then I will cure this. All right, you know what, just in case this stuff doesn't work, I'm just gonna apply some of this doughy gel. I don't want to do an extension just in case I'm stuck with it for a while. So I'll just do a nice layer of this here. I love my long nail beds, but I dislike how curved they are. I've got a decent like apex curve and then also a decently strong C curve, especially around the edges. Like my pinky finger is so bad. It's almost like a square. So I find that I actually have a lot of trouble with nail tips and getting nail tips to fit correctly, which is a bummer because I love press-ons. Gonna layer on some of that gel in the center. I want to build up a little bit of structure to see how the peel off gel handles that. All right, and there's our nail. Honestly, that doughy gel is pretty nice. Like it's self-leveled really beautifully. Please ignore my dry skin, but that's what we're working with. I will go ahead and top coat it, I guess. I'll put a thin top coat on before I try to remove it. Okay, so there is my finished nail, my very crooked finished nail. So let's go ahead and see if we can remove this easily with our remover. So with this system, you can buy the base gel and the remover separately. In fact, I don't think I saw a bundle with these together. I will double check, but I'm pretty sure you have to buy them separately. Okay, so it's a similar just like dropper style remover. Ooh, fancy. Very interesting. So here's this one compared to like the Jello Jello. The Jello Jello is, well, a different color. The Jello Jello one is glass and this one is plastic, but otherwise very similar. You get the nice like dropper bottle here. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this and I guess just apply it around the nail. And I'm gonna let that sit for a couple minutes and see if I can pry up an edge with like a cuticle pusher and go from there. So it's interesting, like this remover, whatever it is, it's not like oily, it's staying, it's evaporating. I'm used to the Jello Jello where, oops, a lot, where it kind of, you know, it like seeps under and stays under, but I am getting some lifting here. Just gonna apply some more of that product right there. But yeah, it's interesting. It's such a liquidy texture and it's evaporating. I'm so used to the Jello Jello peel off where it is like an oily finish that stays and it doesn't exactly evaporate, at least not quickly. Okay, so I got the one edge up. It's not peeling the easiest, I will say, although to its credit, I'm trying to remove it immediately after applying it. So it's not had any sort of wear and tear. Okay, I have my Jello Jello pusher here and just, I would not recommend using a metal pusher typically for this method. The Jello Jello metal pusher, as you can see, it's sharp, but it's not like razor sharp. So I feel better about using it for these kinds of applications. I'm just trying to work that under this edge over here. See if I can't get in. Oh, she's pretty stuck on there. I would say honestly, like if you're somebody who's not necessarily doing content, but you're somebody who wants to wear your nails for a longer period of time and then remove them after maybe, you know, a week, 2 weeks, something like that. Or if you're somebody who the Jello Jello just doesn't work for because it doesn't adhere, doesn't have enough staying power. I know that some people really just can't use the Jello Jello. It doesn't work for them. Maybe try this one because this one definitely seems to have stronger retention, even in just this little test that I'm doing here. All right. So not bad at all. My nails looking pretty healthy. Obviously it's dull because I had buffed the surface. There was just a tiny teeny little bit of lifting right there, and that's probably because I was going kind of quick at the end. I got a little bit impatient with removing it, but otherwise my nail still feels nice and strong. So yeah, this definitely works. I would again just reiterate that it's probably for slightly longer term wear than maybe the Jello Jello. The Jello Jello, that stuff, like I can put on a nail set, take it off immediately after with no problem. I think this is meant to be a little bit more long lasting, which actually might be really good news for some people because I know that for some, the Jello Jello just doesn't give them any retention at all. And so this might be your answer. Okay, and last but not least, hopefully I have room to fit this in, but I did just want to show you my new Cris lens. So I actually recently purchased her, I think it's a 40 by 120 millimeter lens, and I showed that off in a video where I went over how I make content, and Crisania ever so kindly sent me this one, and this is her 75 millimeter lens. So it comes in this nice box here. It is very sturdy. It's got this cool little like plaque on it. And then you do get a protective case. Very nice, very compact. And it is very similar to the last one where you open it up and inside you have your lint-free wipe your phone clamp, that's what this is, and your lens. So the difference between this one and the other one that I've reviewed is that this one is one of those single focal length lenses, and it's more of a close-up macro lens. So let me show you on my phone. The way that you do this is you take this clamp here and you're going to line this up with your with your lens, whatever your camera uses to record. I happen to know that mine's the second one here. So I'm going to loosen up this clamp, and then I'm going to slide my phone in here, and I'm going to line up the clamp right with my phone, and then I'm just going to tighten it from the other end. So I'm just kind of like holding it and tightening it here until it is nice and snug. And then you just take your lens, and you'll have to take off the little protective cap here. That just pops off. And then this baby screws right into the holder. There we go. Okay. And then you just take off the cover. You can see how beveled that lens is because it is such a close-up. I'm gonna go ahead and record so you can see how close you can get with this. The focal length is right about here, which is right about there. So, you know, a few inches away. You do have to be quite close to the subject, but it does mean that you get some amazing details. Now notice if I pull this away, it's going to go out of focus. If I get too close, it's going to go out of focus. You need to really be in that sweet spot. It is a single focal length lens, unlike her other one, but this one you can zoom in even more than the other one. Like you can get really up close and personal with the details. Like I can see all of the little magnetic particles in this swatch. However, you do just need to be very careful about like debris and hair. This lens will capture everything in amazing detail. So yeah, this is gonna be for those super close-up shots. Here's that nail that I just applied the peel-off base to if you wanna see the surface. Again, I was a little rough at the end there, which is why you have a little bit of damage. That could have been avoided if I was a little bit more patient. But yeah, that's this lens. Again, very much for like the super close-up shots. Now for my recommendation, honestly, I would get the other lens first. Get that one because it is a little bit easier to work with the varied focal length, and then go for this one if you know, are really invested in doing phone content, shorts content. I find it's always easier to film on the phone. This one here, you can get really nice swatch footage with, like of your polishes. So like if you really want a nice close-up of a product, this lens is the way to go. But that's kind of crazy for phone footage, right? You can get those super detailed close-up shots of polishes and whatnot. So yeah, I recommend you start with the other one, the one that has the varying focal lengths, and then once you get really into your content creation, pick up this one too, just because it does have an even closer range, and you can get these gorgeous like product shots and that kind of thing. So yeah, thank you so much to Crisania for sending over another amazing lens. Honestly, she is really a great person to follow if you're into content because she's just so knowledgeable about filming and editing and all of that good stuff. And I'm excited to see what kinds of things she comes out with next for like filming and that kind of stuff. Oh, and obviously she has amazing clays that I swear by. Alrighty, so that is everything for today's haul. I originally had planned this honestly as being like, oh, I can film a short haul video and kind of like take a break on this really busy week that I have here with prom going on and grades due for progress reports. And not the case. I think I have currently like 4.5 hours of footage to go through. So hopefully this doesn't end up being too long, but I don't know. Let me know. Do you guys like the long hauls? I personally don't mind a longer video because I like putting something on while I'm working on nails. So I like having something to listen to while I do that. I also know that I literally just posted a haul video 2 weeks ago, and the only reason I'm putting another one out so soon was because I had so many products that I had purchased, again, back in like December and November for sales that I never got to hauling. Normally, I wouldn't have 2 haul videos in a month just because I don't want like the main purpose of my channel to be just reviews. I love doing the nail designs. I love doing the more informational videos, though those ones do take me quite a bit longer to make. And I also want to do some more vlogs, especially when I have some more free time here in the summer, whatnot. So yeah, just so you know, don't worry, this isn't going to turn into just hauls, although I don't know. I feel like people enjoy the hauls. They're usually my highest viewed video, which is to me kind of funny because I spend the most time probably planning and working on tutorials, and then the hauls are like just a fun little thing that I get to do and show off all the neat new polishes that I'm trying out, and those seems to do the best. So not complaining at all, just an interesting observation that I've had. But yes, the next video I'm hoping will be a clear nail design, and then after that, if I can swing it, I am going to be reorganizing my office space. I have some new shelving units to put up so that I can store all of these lovely polishes. So I should have that up. And then I was honestly thinking about doing that Chrome video, like a dedicated tips and tricks for Chrome after that. So if you have any questions on Chrome application, anything you'd like to see, definitely drop a comment down below. But at this point, I think it's about time that I wrap this up. So once again, thank you so much for being here, for subscribing, for checking out my hauls, tutorials, whatnot. If you would like to be part of my community on Discord, that will be linked down below, along with all of these products if you want to try any of them out yourself. I do have discount codes for many of the places here, though not all of them. So just check the description box. Anyway, I hope you all are having a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you all next time. Bye!